Hello, my name is Reverend Asha Burson Johnson, and my personal pronouns are she, her, and it is my joy to be with you on this Wednesday Wisdom Talk. We do these talks twice a month in this space, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, and I usually speak for around 15 minutes, and then I invite, if you choose, to join me in the chat bar with comments, questions, thoughts, your own wisdom to share in whatever topic that we're covering this particular time. So tonight we're talking about cowardice. That seems like a weird topic, doesn't it? I was going to talk to you about it, but I got a little nervous and afraid about that. I'm only kidding. So the word cowardice came up in a conversation with someone for me this week, and in the beautiful, authentic, vulnerable conversation that we were having, we both recognized where we were being cowards in our relationship with each other, in our unwillingness to talk about things that were uncomfortable, in our inability to get beyond our fear. And by the time we finished our conversation, we got very clear that we were no longer willing to be cowards and that we really wanted to get beyond whatever that idea or fear or hesitation was in being authentic and being real and saying whatever we needed to say in order to feel heard and understood and connected, which is all we ever want when we have relationships with people, right? Whether they're friendship relationships or romantic relationships or familial relationships, we want to feel safe. We want to feel heard. Well, maybe you don't, but this is what I know for me. So I'll say me instead of we. I want to feel heard. I want to feel safe. And I want to feel able to speak whatever I need to say for myself to get clear on what's going on with me that's in the way of this authentic and vulnerable expression of relationship. And that takes bravery. It takes a willingness to be really uncomfortable. So when this word cowardice came up, I thought, oh, good, a juicy word that I can look up in the dictionary and explore this idea and find out what this word might have for us. So I looked up a couple of definitions, and one of them was the meaning of cowardice is lack of courage or firmness of purpose. I thought, oh, that's good. Lack of firmness of purpose. So when I'm engaging in conversation with someone, if I get very clear about what's my purpose here, what's my intention in this conversation, is it to make them wrong or to defend myself or to do any number of those kinds of things, then it's very easy to get sidetracked. But if I'm very clear that my purpose is connection and safety and love and kindness and compassion, it makes it a little bit easier to step into those tenuous areas, those places of discomfort and fear. If I say this, then what might happen? I might lose this love. I might lose this relationship. I might hurt this person. And that can be really scary. One of the other definitions of cowardice was lack of courage to face danger, difficulty, opposition, pain, etc. And I recognize how many times in my life I haven't spoken what I felt intuitively that I needed to speak for this inability to face difficulty, opposition, or pain. Especially in the last few years, I think a lot of us have shied away from difficult conversations around race, difficult conversations around politics, difficult conversations with people that we care about and love, because we feared that there was danger, difficulty, opposition, or pain. And that would be the only result of these conversations. And maybe it's that way for you too with some of your closest and deepest relationships. When I engage in cowardice, I am repudiating faith. I'm repudiating the possibility that love, kindness, compassion, intention, and authenticity can shift these places of danger, difficulty, opposition, and pain into something else. When I lack faith in the inherent goodness of each and every soul, maybe deeply buried, even my own, when I lack faith, then it's easy to fall into cowardice. It's easier to say, well, I just am not going to talk about that. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to withdraw because that feels safer somehow. And yet it never really is. And it's never satisfying. William Shakespeare, in his play Measure for Measure, said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." So, can we be willing to try to be really vulnerable? Now, I've said many times, it's not appropriate to be vulnerable with everyone. It's not necessarily authentic. It's not necessarily a good idea to be authentic with every single person. And I believe that most of us have at least a few with whom we can be truly real and don't lose the good we might win by fearing to attempt. To, to say at the very beginning, this is probably going to be an uncomfortable conversation. I'm scared to talk about this. I've had fear in broaching this subject with you because I'm afraid of losing you. How often might that disarm someone just enough and create an opening, a little tiny opening for something else? Cormac McCarthy, the author of All the Pretty Horses, a quote from that book, said, "Long before morning, I knew that what I was seeking to discover was a thing I'd always known, that all courage was a form of constancy, that it is always themselves that the coward abandoned first. After this, all other betrayals come easily." When I was much younger, when I was much younger, I was a betrayer. I was someone who abandoned myself and what I knew to be right and good and kind. And then it was easy to betray someone else. And I didn't recognize until afterwards how that betrayal was first of myself, and then how easy it became to betray another, and how that damage, although very potent for that other person, was far more potent for myself. When we lose trust in ourselves, in our own moral compass, in our own intuition, in what we know to be the right and true thing, when we don't say what we need to say for lack of courage, that's when we abandon ourselves. And courage is a form of constancy. It takes practice. Being afraid is easy. It's very natural. It seems easier to withdraw, to shut down. As I said earlier, it sometimes seems safer. And I think what we all want most are real, deep, honest relationships where we can truly be ourselves, where we don't have to hide, and then practice over and over again, noticing, oh, I'm pulling back. Oh, I don't want to say that thing. I'm afraid right now. And stretch and push out into the beyond, out into that place where there is this faith and trust that within the revealing of who we are to the right people, that we can find something grander than we could have ever possibly imagined, not only in the relationship, but in ourselves. Another novelist, Julia Glass, says, all the best novels are about one thing: how we go on. The characters must survive the fallout of their own cowardice, folly, denial, or misguided passion. They squander what matters most, and still they pick up the pieces. Courage takes constancy and a willingness to notice, oh, yeah, I did that. Well, that happened. That isn't how I wanted that to go. To pick up the pieces and to try again. Once more into the breach. Probably Shakespeare. So let's be brave. Let's be bold. Let's be willing to say what it is that we need to say, to be heard, to ask for what we need, and to start with a place of vulnerability. I'm afraid to talk about this. This is really uncomfortable for me. I fear that if I tell you, you're going to run screaming into the night, never to be seen again. And yet I need to say this anyway. And just see what happens. If it doesn't work, try again with someone else. I think that's about all I have to say about that. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday Wisdom Talk. Be brave. Send me comments if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you in another couple weeks. Make it a great day. Bye.